Hey, how's it going, douchebag? So it's been a long time since I've uploaded a video, but what really irritates me is when people take long breaks between uploading videos, and then every time they upload a video, they're like, "Ugh, I haven't uploaded a video in a while, sorry about that, we need to get on schedule," and then the whole goddamn video is taken up by them talking about boring-ass bullshit about their upload schedule that nobody gives two fucks about anyway. So, onward and upward. I didn't really prepare what I was going to talk about. I guess I'll just recap what's happened in the last few weeks with me, my life, and all those things. It's been pretty standard, starting school again. This is my second to last semester in college, which, it's pretty shitty, actually, you know? For the first time, like, really, this isn't to say that I haven't had a lot of work, academic-wise, you know, in prior semesters, but this is the first time that it's been really, really just stressful and just weighing on me, even from the beginning right here, and having to deal with that, so that's kind of shitty. The only reason I'm making this video right now is because I was in the middle of writing an essay, and I wanted to take a break, and I figured, God, I can't rationalize playing video games for a while, because a game of zombies will take fucking forever. I can rationalize making a video, because I'll just talk until I get bored, and then upload this, and then sit and watch all your sycophantic comments about how much you guys love me, and you want to stroke my ego, and then tweet at me and say, oh, I love you so much, and then, of course, it's a Friday, and so you're going to say, get on PKA, because PKA is tonight. And Woody's asked me 3 times now, the last, like, 3 times, and I haven't been able to at all. The first 2 times because I was out of town. At the first time, I was in Wisconsin skiing with a few friends, and the second time, this is both over Christmas break, by the way, I was in Idaho with a friend of mine and having a lot of fun there, shooting some guns and whatnot, which I had never been to a gun range, and that is the tits. It makes you feel powerful, you know? No wonder cops walk around, you know, with guns on their hips all the time. I still, you know, feel like maybe it's a little bit of overcompensation for penis issues, but that's fine. To each their own. Go hog wild. I don't care. But anywho, went to a shooting range. I'm actually going to another one this weekend, which is going to be a lot of fun. I haven't even looked at the list of shit that you can rent there yet, but it should be a good time. But anywho, Christmas break was good, and because I'm a college student and Mizzou, the school that I go to, we have a retardedly long Christmas break, like 6 weeks almost, and so I got off probably December, 15th or so, and then I just had to come back on the 22nd, and so I had a really long, nice break. It gets to the point almost where you're so accustomed to the college lifestyle of faster paced and more fun that going home the first few weeks are like, oh, hell yeah, relaxing, just vegging out, seeing all your high school friends again, having a good rip-roaring time. Rip-roaring? What am I, Wile E. Coyote? No, that's not the right guy. Yosemite Sam, he says that. So, but then after a few weeks go by, you're kind of like, oh, fuck this, I kind of need to go back and get my life back on track. So, anywho, that's what I've been up to. Trying to think of any stories of interest that have happened thus far in my school year. Interesting stories. If you guys have been with my channel for a while, you'll remember that I told a story about a girl who brought Actually, I told 2 stories about this. Like, one was a few years ago that you guys may not even remember if you subscribed in the last year and a half or so. But this chick ate a huge bag of chips, like a big family-sized bag of chips with salsa, in one of my small discussion classes my sophomore year, so like a couple years ago. And then after that, and this was last year, this chick ate a huge sandwich right before class started, and like an exam was getting passed out. It was pretty ridiculous. But that happened again, but it was interesting because I talked to this guy. I was sitting in my class, and there was a group of exchange students. And this was a huge class. It's a freshman level class that I have to take for a requirement, and it's the easiest one I could get into. So there's like 500 people. Like, literally 500. That's not hyperbolic. 500 people in this class. And so you can kind of do whatever you want. Doesn't matter too much. But the group of people sitting next to me, because I arrived late and so I wanted to sit in the very back, it was a huge front row of Koreans and, whatever other flavor of Asian. I'm not very good at differentiating. It's all Asian to me. So they're all sitting up there, and they're kind of speaking in their Takeo language, like from zombies. And then every once in a while, they kind of break into some English, and I can understand. And then right behind them, in the row I'm in, there's like a Brazilian dude. I don't know what the fuck was happening, because every person around me was foreign. I was the only person who had a normal accent that could speak English well. It was strange. And it wasn't like I don't think this was planned. I just walked in and just happened to sit down. It was like, it was that feeling that Rosa Parks got when she sat on the front of the bus, and everybody's like, say what? And, well, it probably wasn't like that. That's probably a bit different. But, especially because they weren't trying to kick me out. They were being very nice. But one of the Asian kids, and, I would be understanding if this was someone like fresh off the boat from Africa or something like that, where they really don't understand like when you're supposed to eat here, but these are like Korean kids who have at least been here for a few years. They get their shit. And so they know that if you're going to eat in class, bring a little bag of something like cashews. I don't know, eat something that doesn't make a bunch of noise, it's not annoying. And these two girls and this dude, they pull out like a full course meal of just, I don't know. I have no idea what it was. It looks like mushed up meat bits and sauce, and you know how Chinese or Asian food, I'm telling you, I don't know what flavor they were. You know how that food looks, just kind of a conglomerated, congealed mess of sauce and stickiness and soon-to-be diarrhea, and they just started chowing down on it. And the gross part was, it had to be cold. It had to be cold. It was like fucking 10 degrees out. There's no way that they came with that chicken and that sauce and all that rice, and they didn't even use chopsticks, because, I mean, at the very least, they should have used that just to fulfill that, you know, stereotype all the way. But no, they had forks and spoons like normal folk, and so they just start chowing down in the middle of class. Thankfully, I guess it's kind of thankful, you know, they didn't warm it up, so it wasn't smelling very much, but it's just something gross. Like, I don't know if you guys get like this. Some people have a thing where they cannot stand the sound of other people eating. That's just a thing for some people. My younger brother freaks the hell out every time he hears somebody's lip smack, like, or something like that. My thing is, I can't watch people eat cold food. I don't know why. If it's food that's supposed to be hot and it's cold, especially if there's sauce on it, and the sauce is kind of like hardened a little bit and just thicker, and it makes me honestly want to vomit. I don't know why. I've always been like that. The only food I can eat cold that's supposed to be hot is pizza, and even then, I can't remember the last time I had a cold slice of pizza. I don't like it. I don't like eating cold food that's supposed to be hot. It's a sin. And that should be added as number 11. You know, go chisel that in, Jesus. Get on that. So I don't care for that. And they were just eating it like they had been, you know, fighting in a war. Like, they weren't eating reasonably. They weren't eating like there was a guy standing behind them with a stopwatch that had 60 seconds on the clock, and he was like, hurry up, you only have 60 seconds. And it didn't make any sense. It was syllabus week. They weren't even telling us anything valuable about the class. What the hell? I don't know. Maybe that's just that Asian work ethic. You know, if you're going to do something, you do it right. You got to give it to those Asians about that. They've got that work ethic. But, yeah, what else has been going on in my life? That was a story of absolutely no consequence whatsoever. I did have a girl follow me home from one of my classes, but I didn't, it wasn't like, I don't want to make it sound like she's a creeper, or, well, actually, you know what? Here we go, because, yeah, she was. I was in one of my classes, and this girl was sitting next to me, and she walked in kind of late, and she sat by me because it was the only open spot, and it was kind of on the corner of the two tables, and so it was just an uncomfortable area. And she was, I knew immediately I would be annoyed by this chick, because she started asking every imaginable question right in the beginning of class. Like, the teacher's trying to explain the fucking syllabus, and she's like, but what about this? What about this? What about that? But who does this? And what is this graded for? And all that, excuse me, and all that garbage. And I just wanted to be like, my God, give the professor a minute and she will get to all those things. I want to punch you in the face as hard as I can. But from that point, she started kind of getting a little chummy with me, and it was kind of uncomfortable. I'm not used to that. I'm not some, you know, dashing, handsome dude, so it's not like chicks are constantly approaching me. And so she was kind of like almost putting her leg way too close to mine, and it was clearly not the kind of leg placement where it's like, oops, we accidentally brushed legs. It was like she was trying to like tap my leg with hers, and I was being very overtly kind of paying attention to the class and trying to make sure. I was giving her a polite smile, and in the middle of the class, this continues. I don't really know how to respond. It's one of those things where if I did that to a chick and I just kind of rubbed my leg up against her and was being kind of weird, and, you know, don't get the idea that this was like, you know, basic instinct, crazy leg movements of seduction. This was just kind of like a weird rub. It went from a tapping to kind of like a weird rub. And if I were doing that to a chick and the chick didn't want me to do that, she'd probably be like, ew, pervert, gross, and slap me. But as a dude, you can't do that. You kind of have to be like, okay, I don't really know the procedure here, because if you do ask him to stop, someone's going to be like, what are you, a faggot, or something like that. And so I'm sitting there and I deal with this the whole class, and I stand up and I'm going to try and get out of there as fast as possible, because I am very good at packing up quickly at the end of class. But this chick must have the gold Olympic medal for that, because she threw everything in there immediately and just started following me right on my heels. And this class is so far away from my apartment, it's ridiculous. It's like a 2-mile walk, and I walk there because it's a great way to stay in shape. No, not really, because I don't want to waste gas and spend like $6 on friggin' whatever they are, parking meters. And so I start walking back, and she kind of does that little jog and catch up, and we start talking a little bit. It becomes really apparent quickly that this wasn't a front that she put on of being annoying. This was just a genuinely annoying person. I kind of felt bad for her. She was just irritating. And she gave off that vibe of someone who just kind of has a social disorder, you know how you get that vibe? She was clearly not stupid. She was in a high-level course with me, but she gave off that vibe of, like, not getting social cues, not understanding that I was kind of like, mentioning, like, texting another girl as I was walking, or, trying to manufacture calls that I might need to make, just anything to show her, like, hey, I'm really trying to be polite, but, I'm not interested, and I can tell from your weird leg rubbing that you kind of are. And, she wasn't ugly, but she definitely is not what I would consider cute, but she wasn't fat, so, who knows what was under those clothes. That's all stands to reason that she's got a rockin' bod. I'm just kidding. But, anywho, we start walking back, and when I say that it's about a 2-mile walk, I'm really not exaggerating that much. It probably is well over a mile, not 2 miles, but it's a long way, and in the 10-degree weather, that's pretty bracing, and it's uncomfortable. And so we keep walking, and I ask her, I'm like, oh, well, where are you going? Are you going to the bus? Are you going to your car or something? And she's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to the bus. And so by the time we get to the bus stop, and this is what was mind-blowing to me, that's still about 3/4 of a mile from my house. And she walked right past the bus after I kind of said, all right, well, I'll see you in class on Tuesday or whatever. And she was like, oh, okay, I can actually come back to the bus. Another one leaves in like 20 minutes. And I didn't know what to say. I was kind of like, okay, that's all right. Like, okay, I didn't know what that meant. I thought she meant, oh, I'm going to walk in the student center and get something to eat. But instead, she just starts fucking following me home. And she's like, where are you going? Where are you parked? And I was like, oh, I'm walking back to my apartment. I live on, way over there, like a mile that way. And she was like, oh, okay. And that was it. She didn't say, oh, okay, I'll walk with you, or, oh, okay, I'll go back to the bus, or, oh, okay, I'll wait here for a friend till I get on the next bus, or, oh, okay, I'm going to come home and then stab you in the back of the neck with a kitchen knife and then bury your body in the back of the woods, or whatever her strange plans were. But I was so convinced, and I remain convinced, that she has at least some kind of Asperger's or something, that she just doesn't get social cues, that I couldn't bring myself to be like, actually, no, get the fuck out of here, you bitch! And just, because that would be unbecoming of a gentleman like myself. And so I just started walking back to my apartment, and this chick just walked with me. And for the probably about 50 to 60% of the time, she wasn't even, we weren't even talking, just walking in silence. And she was kind of like walking a little bit too close to me, like she wanted me to like grab her hand or something, and it was just weird. It was like she was moving too fast. It was like, Jesus Christ, like, what is happening in your head? Did you think that when we sat down in class an hour and a half ago that we suddenly started dating, and then you were trying to get, to the first base, rubbing my leg, and now you're trying to get me to hold your hand on the way home? You're taking this relationship way too quick, lady. I mean, I don't even know your fucking name, and I'm pretty sure that you have Asperger's. Nothing wrong with that, to each their own. Well, I guess it's not really a choice if you have that, but it is overdiagnosed, but we'll talk about that in another episode of something, even though I'm not qualified enough to discuss it. So, anywho, we walk back, and I wish there was some crazy climactic ending to this story, like, and then we got back and we banged on my couch, except I don't wish that, because that would have been unpleasant. But all that happened is we got to about the entrance of my neighborhood, which really isn't a neighborhood, just about a 200-yard street until you get to my building, and I kind of stopped there because I realized if I don't tell this girl that I'm leaving, she is going to walk into my apartment with me. Like, she's just going to follow me in. Like, that's the level of social ineptitude this lady was radiating. To say lady is unfair. She's probably like, I don't know, 19 years old. 19 or 20 at least. And so I just had to stop and turn to her and say, hey, it was really nice to meet you. What's your name? And I realized immediately, I was like, oh, fuck, I shouldn't have asked what's your name right there, because now she's going to think, oh my god, he didn't know my name the whole time? But apparently she doesn't have any reservations with social things like that anyway, so it didn't matter. She told me her name. I told her my name, and I was like, all right, well, I will talk to you on Tuesday. I kind of like gave, the look you give people when you're waiting for an elevator. You kind of just raise your eyebrows to kind of be like, I see ya. Nothing to say, though. Well, that's what I did. I kind of just said goodbye, then like raised my eyebrows and did like that grimace smile, like, eee. And then slowly like did a couple backward steps and then just walked back to my apartment. And what I felt like a serial killer had decided not to kill me at the last second, and that he said, I want you to turn around, and I want you to walk 100 paces, and if you turn back, I'm going to shoot you. Because I kept wanting to turn back, because I'm like, I can feel her. I can feel her looking at me. I can feel her eyes burning a hole in the back of my skull. What the fuck? What do I do? Why is she so into me? Pick a better looking guy. There's 50,000 of them here. Jesus Christ. But, It was just awkward, and I don't know what to do, and I don't know how I'm going to go to class with this girl, because I guarantee, unless I get to class last every single day, and that's going to be difficult to orchestrate, my God, she's going to sit next to me, and I don't want her to be following me home every day. It's like a dog that I don't want to have sex with. Well, no, that wasn't a good example. Actually, yeah, we're going to let it stay there. Okay. I guess those are the only 2 stories of remote interest that have happened this semester so far, and both of them were kind of shitty, so I make you guys wait 3 weeks with no video, and then I have a cough and talk about boring bullshit. You know what I think? I think you should unsubscribe, because this is a shitty channel that's going downhill, and it's just inexcusable for me to continue to, tease you guys with hints of videos, even though I don't do that. But anyway, follow me on Twitter if you kind of feel like it. It doesn't really matter to me. Yeah, that's the end. Love you.